We're still on point 9. Happiness stimulates and enhances capacity for love. Obviously, love, category 1 towards God, and also category 2 for love. And let me tell you, for those of you who want to get married, marriage does not manufacture, does not produce happiness, okay? Marriage is for people that are already happy. People who are already happy before that, and they go into marriage happy, so that both of them can share their happiness together. But if you're here thinking that marriage is going to make you happy, and if you get married, you're finally going to do this, and you're finally going to be the real you, whatever it is, but you have no capacity for that happiness, marriage is not going to make you happy at all. There are many factors for a successful marriage, successful meaning a happy marriage, many factors that are necessary, such as, first of all, right man, right woman. But once you find right man, for the right woman, right man, right woman is no longer an issue. You got married, now right man, right woman is out. Now what holds the relationship together is virtue. And so you need all these different things. But marriage does not produce happiness. Marriage is for people who are happy within themselves. Point 10. The future happiness beyond the happiness of super grace is called phase 3 happiness, and all believers will have it. In other words, no more suffering, no more tears, no more pain, all things have passed away. This is the happiness that's available to every single believer. But there will be happiness, different degrees of happiness. Jude 24. Those who reach super grace, phase 3, they're going to have a lot more happiness, more access to several blessings that God has for them. And as a result, they're going to be more happy than the average Joes. The average Joe is the person that did not advance in the plan of God, the loser believer who's in heaven, but he did not advance in the plan of God. Point 11. Now we're talking about different types of happiness in the Bible. There's another kind of happiness found in the Bible, but it is available in the millennium, and it is universal. So in the perfect environment of the millennium, everyone's going to have a normal type of happiness. Let's call it M happiness, millennial happiness. So everyone's going to be happy. But the crazy irony about this is that at the end, when Satan is released from his 1,000-year imprisonment, and he goes back to the earth, rises back up to the surface of the earth, he foments a revolution, and almost everyone joins him. They're bored with perfect environment, even though they're happy in this perfect environment, just so you can get an idea as to the nature of humanity. Isaiah 35 verses 1 to 2. Isaiah 64 verses 4 to 5. Isaiah 65 verses 18 and 19. Isaiah 66:10. Point 12. The principle of human happiness must be distinguished from the happiness of God. So human happiness we can call neutral H, because there's such thing as a happiness for the unbelievers, such as the unbeliever who marries the right woman who marries the right man. And you see several of these people, even though nowadays marriage is a flop. You see no successful marriages, but once in a while you see some unbeliever happy marriages. A neutral age from observing the laws of divine establishment for unbelievers. And so, observing the laws of divine establishment, the discipline that is produced from that, all that adds to your happiness. Your mind, your thinking is under control. The sin nature is restrained, so to speak, for the unbeliever by observing the laws of divine establishment. Unbelievers in marriage, right man, right woman for unbelievers. Ecclesiastes 11 verses 8 to 9. The unbeliever youth, young person, just because they are young, they are happy. What do you call it? A happy dumb happy, el tonto alegre. They know nothing, and as a result they're happy. To the extent that you're ignorant, you're much more capable of being happy. And so in youth, you hardly know anything. And so you can be very happy. And that's what Ecclesiastes says, chapter 11, verses 8 and 9 says, you young ones, enjoy your your happiness, but you're going to be judged. Also, there's a happiness when children turn out all right. Proverbs 23 verses 24 to 25. The children either can make you happy or miserable, and nothing in between. And what do you see the ladies do? I'm so happy, my children and my children. Little do they know is that the great headaches that they have every day is the product from having children. And so they can force themselves to, I love him, he's my little Carlitos, he's my everything. Little Carlitos is a little degenerate ass already at such a young age, and mi Carlitos lo amo, and he's my happiness, he's my everything. And yeah, there's a reason why she's so miserable. Point 3, negative principles about happiness. All right, so we're almost done with this. Negative principles about happiness. 1, you cannot build happiness upon the misery of others. That's called gloating. That's a terrible type of arrogance. You cannot build your happiness when you see people suffering. You cannot build your happiness when you see misfortune, mishap befall them. If you're in the plan of God, you should be able to receive suffering fall on a person and pray for them in the sense of, God, allow this suffering to lead them to the gospel. If they're unbelievers, allow this suffering, use this suffering so that they can come to and believe in the Lord Jesus Christ and be saved. If they're believers who are carnal or reversionistic, you say, God, keep using this punishment, keep spanking them so they can finally wake up and use 1 John 1:9 and advance in the plan of God. But no gloating. You have to find that balance. I just suggest that if you ever ask God to punish someone and you do see God punishing them, don't dwell on it too long. If you dwell on it too long, you're going to be in danger of gloating, which is a pretty bad arrogance. So just thank God that he administers justice. Thank God that he heard you. Thank God that he controls history. You cannot build happiness upon the details of life. Part of the spiritual life is to have mastery over the details of life. To the extent that the details of life control you, to that extent you're unadaptable, you're unstable, you're unhappy. You need that stability first of all before you can be happy. And if the details of life control you, you're unstable. It's as easy as that. You cannot build happiness upon pleasant environment. For those socialistic types and democratic socialist types, and you need to improve the environment for them. And a lot of these ex-convicts, they need a better environment and all this stuff. And they did experiments on rats, demonstrating that the environment does help out the rat. The rat that was giving more options, he did not give in to the bad habits and all these different things. We are humans with a soul, and even though we act like animals, there is God who is consistently punishing, administering justice. Don't fall for this idea that depends on your environment. You'll easily get tired of environment. Go to the beach. Go to Pacific Beach. Go to Santa Monica. Those people that live there, they're sick of it. No, they pretend they're out there every morning, making the presence known. But a lot of these folks are unhappy. And that's the reason why they give into drugs so easily. They give into drunkenness. Go to the country clubs. These wonderful, great country clubs in the Coachella Valley. And see a lot of these folks in there. A lot of them are unhappy. You cannot build happiness upon the people that you love. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. Because when you love someone personally, you surrender the custody of your happiness to that person. And when you have personal hatred, the opposite, for that person, you also surrender the custody of your happiness to that person. So therefore, it's you have to be careful who you love personally. Impersonal love has all the virtue, by the way. If you have impersonal love, then you should not be scared of loving people personally. One person, one lover only, and a few friends, 2 or 3 friends. If you love a person personally, you're up for a big surprise, you're up for great unhappiness. And I see friends all the time, and friends says, hey bestie, and this and that, and they right there, they support each other, but they give each other great unhappiness as well. My gosh, who can live like that? But that's all they have going for them. You have something better going for you. You have Doctrine right here. And I might make it look cheap, but the content is what matters. You want a different font? You don't like Calibri? Let me continue. You cannot build happiness upon fame and glory. Ha. Look at Leonardo da Vinci saying that the point is to make history, make the history books. Leonardo da Vinci is gone. He's dead. And he's not enjoying any of that glory, nor the fame. If he was a believer, then he's absent from the body and face to face with the Lord. And being a loser believer, just a cheap believer, he had all the glory he had here on the earth, but over there, out there, he did not glorify God. So therefore, he's going to be a peon. You cannot build your happiness upon the removal of establishment by means of violent revolution. And how many people get very excited when they see some turmoil, some uprising, and every time there's an uprising, the scum crawls out of the cracks, and then all of a sudden the scum takes over whatever uprising. You cannot build your happiness on that. And be careful for you if you join a mob. The mob does not think. The mob is emotional. Little by little, you're going to find yourself not thinking and allowing the mob to think for you. You cannot build your happiness upon the lust pattern of the sin nature. Something about violent revolution. Violent revolution always leads to terrible tyranny. Look at the Russian Revolution of 1917, the Bolshevik Revolution. Look at the French Revolution. Always leads to more tyranny. They were trying to break away from some sort of power. Well, first of all, many times it's the middle class that wants some political power. While the middle class does an uprising, does this, does that, but then the scumbags take over the revolution. And hence, you have Robespierre, Danton, and all these asinine types controlling the revolution and killing in the name of people, killing in the name of brotherly love, in the name of fraternity and egalitari, and I can't even speak any French. Libertate, egalitate, and fraternate. That was Italian. Sorry, never mind. Can you forget about that? I'm not going to delete the video, but just delete that from your soul, okay? You cannot build your happiness upon the lust pattern of the sin nature. This is an easy one, I think. The lust pattern of the sin nature only produces misery. Just because I have not written anything on my board today is a little bit lonely. I'm going to draw my little histogram of lusts. Think about any lusts. Here is approbation lust. Let's put approb. Here is attention lust, together with it, a lot of people have sexual lust, so you can get attention and approbation. Sexual lust. A lot of Christians, when they think about lust, all they think about is sexual lust. No, honey, the lust pattern is all these different things. What else do we have? Together with sexual power, people have, ladies, they use their sexual power for the sexual lust for power lust. And here we are. Once you are able to overcome being seduced by so-and-so woman, you remove their power from them entirely. Therefore, you need some doctrine to the extent that you can easily be seduced by just any dumb woman that comes to you and gives you the right eye and a smile, whatever it is, that bends over in front of you and does all these stupid things that women do. Then, to that extent, if they still control you, you have to learn how to overcome this. That's why you need Bible doctrine. And you need to know enough Bible doctrine before you get married, because you're going to have to be faithful to that one woman. You're going to have to know how to love her correctly. And to the extent that you're still focused and preoccupied with other women, you're not going to love her correctly. You're still in the lust pattern. What else? What else can we put here? Monetary lust goes with power lust. And there's more, right? And so here we are. Why do people go for lust? Because everyone's trying to acquire happiness. That's what everyone's trying to do. Everyone's trying to be happy. Why do you work even though you're unhappy at that moment? So that you can have money, and so that in the future you could be happiness. Why do you defer spending for a moment just to save up, so that you can use that saving in the future so that you can be happy in the future as well? Why do you go for the lust pattern? Why do you want just sex? Because you're trying to acquire happiness through sex. Why do you want attention? Because you're trying to feel special. Why do you want approbation? You want to feel validated. And all that stuff is you're trying to acquire happiness through that. And so here you are. You get the attention that you want. Say that you need about 20 cc's of attention of the right people for the day in order for you to be happy, less happy. And so here you are, that day, today, October 29th, you did acquire this much happiness for you to be happy, and there you are, happy. You're happy. But what if on October 30th, you did not get this amount of Doctrine, 20 cc's? You only got 15 cc's, and here you are. Let's put the imaginary line up here because this is the requirement that you need. What do? To this extent, you are unhappy now. This deficiency creates an unhappiness. This deficiency creates depression many times. This deficiency creates insecurity. Notice how a lot of insecurity is based on arrogance? And so what do? You want to be happy again. You want to fill it all the way to the top because you deserve that attention. So now you take different course of action, you do different things, you do weird things, you do sexual things in front of people so you can get that attention because you're not getting that attention. Some people will even go do some weird things such as dancing and doing these provocative dancings when it's uncalled for, all these different things that if you were to see that video when they were recording it, if you were to see it 20 years from now, from that day, you would be like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? My self-esteem was so low that I started doing the weirdest things ever.